खुद बदल के अब हमें ये जग बदलना है, व्यर्थ की झमेलों से अब उभरना है। एक पल स्वयं को झांक तू जरा, समय भी तुझसे है क्या कह रहा। खुद को बदल तू, हैप्पी हैप्पी न्यू यू। खुद को बदल तू, हैप्पी हैप्पी न्यू यू। खूबसूरत ये जिंदगी, व्यर्थ ना इसे गवा तू। हर एक पल अनमोल है यहाँ, जी भर जी ले तू। मुस्कुरा दे अब तू, खिलता हो गुलाब यूं। खुद को बदल तू, हैप्पी हैप्पी न्यू यू। तारा परा रुड़ा, तुरु तुरुरुरुरु। एक पल थम जा जरा, किस दिशा में है तू बह रहा। आसमां की ऊंचाइयों को छोड़, क्यों ज़मीं पे है भटक रहा। ए खुदा के फरिश्ते, किस बात का है डर तुझे। देख सामने स्वयं खुदा है खड़ा, सुन ध्यान से क्या कह रहा। सद्गुणों को भर ले तू, मेरे जैसा बन हूबहू। विश्व को बदलेगा तू, यही मेरी आरज़ू। बदल के जग को बदल तू।
Shanti, Sis Jayanti. And a happy new year to you, a happy new year to everyone. Hope it is a happy one, an easy one, and a natural one. So we have just a few extra things today. I would like to invite Sister Mona, who is based in Kuwait, to say hello and to also, I think you have some flowers, Mona?
Yes.
And yeah, so that's for Sister Jayanti. And Mona's going to.
Thank you.
Mona's going to share.
Happy New Year, Sister Jayanti. This is from all the Brahmin family on behalf of everyone here. And so really, just want to say that thank you so much for your time, your energy, your sustenance. You know, the feeling was that you have taken from Daddy Janki so much sustenance, and we're feeling that has been now the feeling that we're taking that sustenance really from you. And my feeling really is that you are a friend, you're a sister, somehow you have Baba's wisdom, but you also know the practicality of our lives. So whenever we come to you, you just have that clarity of intellect. Somehow Baba touches you and you give us the right answers. So really wishing you from the heart that this can be a magical year. I feel the magic already started. And hopefully it's going to be a magical year for all of us. And I feel just, Sister Aruna was sharing last time that there's a lot of questions always, but I feel we are maturing now. So the questions will be less, hopefully. And, I just feel now Baba also gives us, the answers when we have that honesty. So it will be an easier year for you. We are all getting older. Thank you so much.
Well, it's lovely to see you, Mona, and I look forward to seeing you in Madhuban also. And thank you for the beautiful flowers, and thank you for the sweet words you shared. Definitely, it's Baba touching everybody and moving all the strings and making things happen.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. And I feel so much we're taking really from these classes. It's 1 hour, but the resources that we have now from the past lectures as well, like really such a wealth. So really a lot of appreciation. And thank you to Sister Aruna. We miss her here, her presence this year. She left us.
No. When there's donation, you get 1,000-fold blessings. And so many, many blessings are coming to Kuwait and all of you there.
Yes, thank you. Everything happens organically, yeah. But we miss your sweet presence, Aruna. So come and visit.
Thank you, Mona. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I'm going to invite, Brother Francis, also from Brazil. And we have just a few people sharing about how they have benefited from the Murli revision. So, Brother Francis?
Yes, hello, Shanti, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so greetings from all the Brazilian family and Happy New Year to each one of you. And especially this Murli revision is bringing a lot of benefits to me. It's like having 2 Sundays in a week. Of course, all the Murlis are special. Any Murli is special, but avyakt Murlis is very, very special. And for me, it's like an indicator that there is always a possibility to improve my journey, to refine my intellect, and really understand what Baba wants me to understand. So from my heart, I'd like to thank Sister Jayanti, Sister Aruna, and everyone that's involved on making this happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Francis.
Brother. Yes, thank you, brother, all the way from Brazil. And also we're going to have Sister Nanette. Yes.
Om Shanti from Holland. Thank you very much, Shanti Ben, always for especially bringing the sparkle into every word that Baba says. It's a Murli that we can read, and you bring extra sparkle into every word. And with that, it becomes very alive. It becomes very vivid. And then so Brahman life becomes vivid, and also the golden age comes closer. The new world comes closer. It's very alive, the sharing. Thank you very much. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, Nanette.
Thank you, Nanette. And we had somebody else, but they can't. Would anyone else like to share? Who feels inspired to share any benefits that you have had from the Murli revision? Maybe it helped you at a time of need or something. Does anyone have a story? This is your opportunity. You can just raise your hand, and in Zoom, I mean. Anyone? Or too shy? Yes, too shy. Okay. Well, obviously, gentlemen, they turn up every week. Okay, there's one here. Who is that? Would you put your video on? Okay, Sarita from UK. 1 second, can't hear you. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm a student from the UK who's in the US living at the moment, but my heart is still with the UK family, and having these revisions is just great. It's just before I start work. So the Mondays, the start of the week is super. And thank you so much, Jayanti Didi, for, like a sister said from Holland, you put sparkle into our lives. Thank you for sharing and reminding us of the lovely stories you had with Baba. Thank you, Aruna Didi.
Welcome. Thank you, Sarita.
Om Shanti.
Okay, we have Fusun. And others are writing that they look forward to the Mondays. And somebody
Om
else.
Shanti. Thank you very much for the our decision about the revision. It is very useful. You know that only once to read or to listen to the avyakt Murli, it isn't enough. Every time revise it throughout the days. So it is very useful. Thank you very much. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Fusun. That was Fusun from Turkey. And yes, people are writing, they're shy to speak, but yeah, they're saying they appreciate it. Gunsali says, I get a deeper understanding with you. Okay, and so this is Sister Maka Katori from where?
Om Shanti. I am currently in California, but I am originally from Poland. And I would like thanks so much to dear Didi Jayanti for your wisdom and for your sisterhood to us, and for uplifting our thoughts every Monday and focusing us on Baba's Srimad and Baba's knowledge. And especially our Polish family cannot wait for you to come over in January, because we are going to celebrate the new Baba's house and the opening. Since I am in California, my heart is in Madhuban, in Paramdam, and in Poland as well. Thank you so much. Om Shanti.
Thank you. So thanks to everyone. Sister Jayanti, I know that you know how special this is for everyone. We really appreciate you giving time. And many times we think, and I've asked people, shall we change the format? And they say, well, if something's not broken, why to fix it? And so still, I think it goes on, and people appreciate what it is. And it's wonderful. And I've also noticed, even if I ask you the same question, a month or two later, you have a different version of the answer. So there's always newness. Thank you, gentlemen.
And a big thank you to Arunaben for having kicked this off early. How long has it been? 1.5 years or so, something like that. But and then you've given it that attention every single week. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
So Baba came to celebrate with all of us, and the celebration was threefold. We were not just celebrating the new year, but the new age and also our new life. And so very big celebration with Bapdada, and Baba was very happy to see the big gathering of the double foreigners who had collected there in Madhuban. but also Baba always remembers those in the subtle form, in the subtle region, who are there through cyberspace with Baba online. And Baba always remembers them and mentions them. And then Baba gave us a golden gift, a gift that nobody else in the world throughout the whole Kalpa is ever going to be able to share with us. And the gift was the golden world. And so Baba asking us, is there anything more that you want? Anything more that you need? And even if somebody were to offer you a throne and a crown, it wouldn't be the same as a gift that you have now. And in the early days of establishment, and we saw all the daddies sitting in line in the front, all of them were there. And so Baba reminded them, do you remember that in the early days of establishment, Baba would say to you, if the Queen herself were to offer you a throne and a crown, would you accept it? And you would say to Baba, no, because we have found the Father, we don't need anything else at all. And so Baba reminding them of that, but then also saying, if people say, well, what is there in a golden age? Well, there's a very long list of attainments, but within that, in fact, everything can be put into one sentence. Just simply, is there anything that is lacking in that kingdom of yours? And in fact, Baba has already given you a throne. One is the throne of his heart. And Baba was speaking to all the double foreigners. All of you are seated on Bapdada's heart throne. And also, all of you have the right to self-sovereignty. And those who claim self-sovereignty in the confluence age are also the ones who have a right to the Father's heart throne, but also the throne of the kingdom in the future. And so a beautiful way to remind us of what we need to do, make sure that you sit on the throne of self-sovereignty. And it's very easy, very simple, and it's a beautiful experience because Sangam Yug is the age of pleasure. And you have this happiness, and at no other time are you going to be able to meet with the Father in the way that you meet him now. And so the greatest treasure is this. And of course, the happiness that you have now is the greatest happiness of all, of being with the Father. And so what more do you want? But sometimes instead of the pleasure and the happiness and everything moving forward smoothly and easily, we have an old friend who's waiting to jump in. And then Maya comes and makes that which is easy become difficult. And of course, when Baba's addressing the gathering in Madhuban and asking, is there anyone who finds it difficult? There is nobody who's willing to say that it is difficult. And of course, at that moment, that's the truth. We really feel when you're there in front of Baba in Madhuban, everything is so easy, so natural, so happy. And you can't imagine that it's going to be any different and that there can be a difficulty again. But of course, Baba's reminding us that make sure that you stay in that experience of love. And then really, there is nothing that is difficult. Everything is all very, very easy. So experience that pleasure and just let it become easy. Don't let anything pull you down and make things difficult for you. And so Baba really, really happy to see all the children and experience this joy and pleasure and easiness of Sangam Yugi life. And then Baba also asking the mothers, is it easy for you? The pandas, is it easy for you? And so just remember to keep it easy and don't let anything make it difficult. So after the gifts and the happiness and the love, then Baba gave us the homework. And the homework that Baba gave, Baba said, make sure that you have that determined thought at the start of the year. And of course, Lokik people make their resolutions and we say to Baba, this is my determined thought. And when we have that determined thought, then Baba also gives us a huge amount of help with it. And so Baba's saying, this is the year when you have to value the treasures that Baba has given you. Value the time, your breath, your energy, your thoughts, your treasures of powers, of virtues, of knowledge, all the things that you've received in Sangam Yuga. And the more you appreciate and value these, then you begin to use these in a worthwhile way. And when you're using all these treasures, every thought, every second in a worthwhile way, then there is a guarantee of success. You become the embodiment of success. And we've had discussions about these words because safalta, success, that's easy. But safal karna, to use things in a worthwhile way, to use them in the most appropriate way possible, and to be able to use them in the best way possible. And so safal, it's a beautiful word, but safal and safalta, you can see the connection of these two words. And so Hindi, it's very easy to remember. Safal karo, then safalta, then there's success. And of course, the images of the daddies came in front, and how with very, very little, they managed to attain so much success. Whether it's Madhuban Yagya, whether it's the London Yagya, whether it's each and every single Yagya in the world, but especially thinking about Madhuban and how simple and basic Madhuban was, how at one particular time, Didi came to Baba, this would have been in the late 60s, around 67, 68. And she said to Baba, Baba, there's so many people coming, so many guests who are coming, and I don't know where to put them all. And Baba gave her drishti and said, well, there's space under my bed. You can put a few people under my bed. And of course, the bed was the 4 pillars and just the net on that. And that was very simple. And so, yes, there was a big amount of space under Baba's bed. But Didi, of course, laughed, and Baba wanted to make her light and easy so that it wouldn't be a burden. Where are we going to put all these guests? But somehow everything managed. The history hall became a dormitory, and everybody shared and everybody clubbed together and everything was fine. They were happy just to be there in Madhuban. And from those very, very simple early days, today we have comfortable space in Madhuban for 20,000 people in Shantivan, and upstairs also everything available for Baba's children. So the success of the Yagya, and of course Brahma Baba, the first one, but the success of the Yagya is how everything has been used in a worthwhile way on all levels, spiritual, material, time, everything. So Baba then reminding us of the whole story of Brahma Baba and how Brahma Baba used every moment in a worthwhile way, all the assets in a worthwhile way. And even though he became karmatit, so those last 2 days, Baba wrote one day 40 letters, the next day about 50 letters, so that everything would be clear and there would be nothing remaining in terms of any karma. And Baba was already karmatit, of course. And also that night, Baba had pain all day, but at night, Baba wanted to take leave, even though he didn't realize that that's what was going on. But it was the last Murli, and Baba said, Vidai, goodbye. And we didn't pick it up until afterwards when you're reading that Murli of 18th January, the night Murli. Then we read that, yes, Baba said, Vidai, goodbye. And Baba saying that till his very last breath, he was serving and using every moment in a worthwhile way, and so sharing elevated versions with all. So Bapdada sharing the Murli, and Baba reminding us that this is how, if we say we have love for Baba, then we have to follow in Baba's footsteps. You can't just say, I love Baba and that's it. But I have to prove, I have to demonstrate the love that I have for Baba by following in Baba's footsteps. And in this case, make sure that your time, your thoughts especially, and all the treasures that Baba has given you are being used in a worthwhile way so that they multiply and they grow and you share them with all. And then Baba was talking about how whatever it is you've used in a worthwhile way now, that is going to determine your future. And Baba went into the whole detail of the karma philosophy of that, and how if you use your breath in a worthwhile way now, you have good health and you'll never have a heart attack, you'll never have blockages in your arteries, but just keep using every moment of your breath in a worthwhile way, and there'll be good health now, but also, of course, in the future. And then if you used your time in a worthwhile way, then you'll get a kingdom for the full period of paradise. And if you're using your time in a worthwhile way only sometimes, then it'll be a kingdom only sometimes. And then if you're using knowledge, understanding in a worthwhile way, then yes, definitely, you'll be one of those souls in the royal family. And a lovely scene that Baba showed us through his words, that yes, there'll be the emperor or the king seated on the throne, and he won't need to have any ministers. And today, as soon as somebody takes oath, before then, he's already got a whole group of ministers and advisors. But there, it'll be the royal family who are there with the royal king. And those of the royal family will also have their crowns. Each one will have a crown, and they'll have the same rights, even though they are not seated on the throne, but their rights will also be the same. And so it's not that Baba has to provide so many thrones. At one point, Baba was chatting with the double foreigners. Are all of you going to claim the throne? Well, in that case, Baba has to provide many, many thrones. But even if we don't have more than 8 thrones there, there'll be many, many in the royal family. So Baba will provide many, many crowns, which isn't a difficult thing in the golden age at all. And so the scene that Baba was painting was of the royal family being with the emperor, with the king. And yes, number-wise, and if you want to be number 1, then you have to win now. And it was a very lovely scene that we saw captured by the camera at that moment. A person who left the body around, I think it would have been some weeks ago, but just a short while ago. And maybe it was October, I think. And then that person left, but it had quite a big impact on the whole community. Baba, remember the Sindhi community, that they are there. And every year, 31st December, this particular individual, Mr. Narayan Das Kriplani, he would take a big group from his community to Madhuban. And I often get asked this question, how come Baba and even the Dadis give so much attention to this particular community? Well, this is the community of Brahma Baba. That's one factor. But also, this is the community that has had 180 degrees transformation, because it was this community that was totally disrupted. Their sisters, their wives, their daughters all came to Baba. And can you imagine one small town and a major proportion of that going through upheaval and disruption? So yes, of course, it hit the headlines, it hit the court cases. But out of those people who were in the anti-party, the opposition party, now their sons and daughters and grandsons and granddaughters are part of that community, and they come to Madhuban with love. So somebody who doesn't know the Brahma Kumaris and comes with love is wonderful. But someone who has had a whole history and they come to Madhuban with love, now that is definitely victory for Baba. And so Baba gave them at that time special attention, but those souls have been very, very helpful and cooperative in Baba's service till now. And this person who was sitting in the front between Ramesh Bhai and Nirvay Bhai, and they were teasing him because he said, yes, Baba, I'll be number one. And so that's the person that Baba was acknowledging, and his wife and his family is still very much connected, and Baba's children, and some of them might be watching right now. So number one, if you want to be number one, then you have to win. And then Baba also talking about how at this moment, those who are generous and give all that they can in a worthwhile way to others in terms of donation, using treasures in a worthwhile way, they're the ones who really claim the crowns. And so after that, then make elevated effort, easy effort, and the paradox of both of these things coming together. Keep it easy and natural, and it'll become very pleasurable. And then Baba spoke to many different groups. Yes, the double foreigners, and Baba acknowledged how hard they work, attention in terms of their spiritual effort, but also how they come to Madhuban and take benefit and they go back. But also from that moment on, they again start preparing to come to Madhuban. And Baba giving them a lovely blessing that you'll be the ones who will be invited to Bharat to come and glorify Baba. And you don't have to worry about a ticket. You'll even get a ticket. Baba very sweetly acknowledging all of that. The Shaktis set a date for the revelation so that Baba is revealed and the flag for Baba and revelation is hoisted, but set a date. Just as you set a date for everything else, set a date for this. The Mahavirs, the brothers, just imagine at that moment, Baba focusing on just these small groups and yet giving them so much attention and empowerment and encouragement and love. And so the brothers being reminded, don't just bid farewell to the old year, but also bid farewell to Maya. It's time for that. So wonderful, wonderful Murli, but a beautiful reminder for very practical application. When Baba had a thought, Baba put it into practice instantly. So there was no wastage. You've been having wastage for 63 births. Enough of that now. Set that aside and use every moment in just a small period of the confluence age by following in Baba's footsteps. Baba made sure that every thought became practical. The plans he made, it wasn't that there was a plan and then it was a long, long time before it manifested. No, everything happened fast. And that's because the clarity of Baba's mind was such that only the pure thoughts that needed to come would come, and they would then be put into practice. And so following the Father, can I remove all the waste so that every thought is pure and powerful and elevated, so that, yes, it's going to take practical form. So, and then of course the Punjab people, the ones who had done all the hard work, the Sevadharis, and this time again, of course, it was Punjab there. And Baba saying that, well, you've taken this golden opportunity of service of the Yajna, and so that also brings with itself so many blessings. And so, as usual, as many of you commented, every Murli is powerful and beautiful, but especially now as we come to the avyakt month, we are in the avyakt month now. Some of you might be wanting to make it 101 days, as Dadi Prakashmani said in her class, or maybe it's going to be just these 31 days of January, but whichever, let it be a very, very powerful beginning so that you practice the things that are the points for self-respect. Baba told us, when you think about the dot, the dot, the dot, the point, it can very easily become dull and boring and slip away. But if you think about different aspects of actually, who am I? Who is this little tiny star, this dot? And you experience that stage of self-respect, then yes, you're going to be able to experience it and manifest it. So the points of self-respect, experiment with those. The point for churning, it's wonderful food for the intellect to experiment with that. And then most of all, the practice for the day. And just imagine if collectively, all of us are practicing that same thought together. Now that can shift the energy of the world and definitely bring that moment much closer when we can all fly home. And the drill also very beautiful. Just take a second, experience the incorporeal stage, and another second, and experience the angelic stage of the subtle region. It's easy. And the more you do it, the more you practice it and experience it, the easier it becomes, but then it's actually then manifest in your life at all times. And so make sure that you're always giving something to the people you meet. And so any one of the treasures is fine. And at festival occasions, they always share something sweet. And so each day a festival, so share Baba's sweet versions, but let it not just be that it's sweet words that you share. Let it be with the sweetness of your own heart. Yes, your face filled with sweetness, but also genuinely the sweetness from your heart that you have taken from Baba and you have filled yourself with. And so you're full of that abundance and you're sharing that. And if they don't want to listen to Gyan, that's okay. Just give them sweet drishti and they'll never forget that experience. So be the donor, the bestower, and all treasures will come back to you multiplied.
Thank you, gentlemen. Lovely, as always. So it seems like there's a race against time. And there's something I'm reading by Oliver Berkman. And he's basically saying that we have a limited time on Earth, which is 4,000 weeks. And he's saying that time used to be a luxury of the privilege, but now it's busyness that is the luxury of the privilege. And this is what I'm finding, gentlemen, is that there is a race against time to become perfect. So is it that we're not making enough effort? Is it that time is moving faster? And what can be our relationship with time? Or is it that we go beyond time? Or is it that we walk parallel with time? What is your understanding of time and how to work with time so we don't always feel that we are chasing our tail?
In those old-fashioned tape recorders where you could see the reels, you could see that when the reel was starting, the reel would be moving very, very slowly and would be moving to the other side, and the other side would be moving very slowly also. And as this side of the reel became more and more full, and this side of the reel was becoming more and more empty, then by then, this side was moving very, very quickly, and the other side was filling up very quickly also. So I think it's a reality that our experience is that time is moving very, very quickly now. it's the end of the reel, it's the end of the film reel, the end of the recording. And so the side is filling up fast. So that's the sense. And then for myself, yes, my life has been one of service. And so it's always felt that there isn't enough time to do all the things that I should be doing, I need to be doing. But in the last little while, I've learned to economize by firstly just checking my priorities. What is it that needs attention? And can I give that my attention? You know, it came in the Murli of the first, how you need to set a timetable for your mind and your intellect. And if you keep this on track in terms of how you're using your time and the consciousness that you want to keep, then focusing on the priority, then it becomes much, much easier to manage time so that you're able to accomplish whatever it is you need to do within the time and space that has been allocated. So I think it's important to prioritize and to simplify, and then maybe I won't feel I'm catching my tail and running around.
Yes, gentlemen, something else that you've also been emphasizing, which I've kind of taken, is soul consciousness. And you were referring to that last week at Oxford, and somehow getting into that zone. Anyway, I'm just relating that with time. And do you want to say anything about that in relation to time?
I see how if I'm stable inside, in that state of dignity and self-esteem, which is what Baba keeps reminding us of, even in this Murli, stay in that stage of self-respect. And what happens is that you have a clearer picture of what's happening on the stage outside of you and what it is you need to do on that stage. And if I'm not connected with myself, then there isn't that composure or that inner state of dignity. And so I'm scrambling. But if I have that composure of being stable in my own dignity, of self-respect, soul consciousness, and like Baba said, not just the dot, the star, because that can slip away, but every day a different aspect. And it's beautiful because this month we are being provided with all the ready-made homework that we need to do. I always used to think about how the Sakar Murlis were the 18 chapters of the Gita, and then the avyakt Murlis are like a digested form of that raw material. And so you begin to see what it is Brahma Baba did. And so it's already digested in terms of content. And then now it's coming to us from one Murli, 7 days worth of points for self-respect and so on and so on. So experiment with that in a very genuine way. And you'll feel how being in charge of yourself, the self-sovereign, then time is supporting you. You're not fighting time, and time isn't fighting you, but you're supporting time. Time is supporting you.
Yes, and maybe, gentlemen, maybe we will not get everything accomplished. Maybe we just have to conclude that, and the real work is the inner work. Anyway, I'm just sharing my experience. Yeah.
Well, there came a point when I had to realize that I don't need to stay up till 10:30, 11 at night to do my emails, and it wasn't going to be sustainable. It wasn't the right thing to be doing. And so if I leave those emails till the next day, it's okay. You know, and if somebody really has something urgent, they'll find a way to connect with you somehow, and they do. So yes, I can't accomplish everything I want maybe in that same day, but it's okay to leave it for another day. And Baba said, you know, Baba's not talking about easy yogi being careless yogi. So I'm not talking about being careless, but prioritize, and then you'll see what is it that can be left till tomorrow. And okay, if I can't have a perfect flower arrangement everywhere in each room, maybe just a flower arrangement in one room is enough, and that'll be fine. So it's a simple example, but you can see how sometimes we put pressure on ourselves, which is unnecessary. And so just see, what is it that needs attention and is a must, and what is it that can be left aside?
Yeah, so I think a broader definition of simplicity. So also Baba said that he gives a gift to everyone, but gentlemen, is that not conditional? Because the gift is given to those who make the effort.
No, Baba is giving a gift to everyone, but I have to receive it. I have to put my hands out and take it. So that's the only effort. So Baba's even ready to put it in my lap, but I have to open up my lap and say, yes, Baba. So it's not conditional in that sense. There's no conditions that Baba's imposing. It's whatever it is I choose to do for myself. And from the Murlis, Sakar Murlis, you know how some only want mukti. They don't want even mukti. It's fine. That's okay. But even within the Brahmin family, some don't even have that aspiration to be number one. They're saying, well, let me find my comfort zone and do what I can. And that's okay for me, number-wise on all levels.
And then gentlemen, Baba said today, and again, many have this question, that Baba said today, if somebody has heard something, they will go to Satyug and they may claim a lower status. So actually everybody, well, not everybody, many have heard the message, but yet many will not go to Satyug. So what is your understanding of that?
I think it's, I used to think about this a lot early days. And what I understand, and then Baba has specified it just recently also. Give you an example. Here are 40 people who are taking the course, and they're curious, they're interested. And so they've heard gyan, but they're not all accepting it. Out of the 40, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 will actually say, yes, this is Baba, this is Mama. And if they said Baba and Mama from their hearts with that recognition that these are my parents, then yes, that gives them a right to come in heaven. But others who've heard things, and yes, they'll say, well, this is your Baba. There'll be a difference of language. I know, yes, the other big chunk of the Murli where Baba was talking about changing the I and my from the limited I to the I of self-respect and mine. Nothing else is mine, but Baba is mine. Baba not belonging to Dadi Janki or Dadi Prakash Mani alone, but Baba belonging to me. And so where there is that sense that this is my Baba, this is my Mama, that is the certificate, the passport. But otherwise, if it isn't that recognition that this is my Baba, it's your Baba, then of course they come in whichever part of the tree they belong to.
All right, I guess I'll have to accept that answer.
Think about it.
So here was a question from somebody. So when Baba said not to absorb anything, so they're saying that it's okay, we don't absorb the words by using gyan, but how can we not absorb vibrations?
Baba spoke about putting up, well, on one side, certain vibrations are like a big wall. And then there are certain vibrations which are like a dark shadow. And so there's a difference in terms of the intensity of vibrations, but the way that I can always protect myself from whether it's somebody putting up a big barrier or somebody casting a shadow is just stay up above in the light with Baba's light surrounding you. And so the attack is happening here, but you're up above with Baba. And so it's not touching you. And I saw that happen. The daddies, 2 daddies, I saw it happen. Actually, 3 daddies. I saw it happen with Daddy Janki, with Daddy Prakashmani, Daddy Gulzar. People really attacking with a lot of aggression, but it didn't touch them. And that's because they did not come down to the level of the attack. They kept their stage up above, and not just keeping their stage up above with Baba and in that light so that this didn't impact them, but all 3 of them I saw being generous bestowers and actually giving good vibrations to those souls. And of course, within a short space of time, things shifted, things turned around, and the people weren't attacking anymore.
Lovely. Thank you, gentlemen. Here's another question. It's easy to experience the combined stage during yoga, but what about in karma yoga when we're using the intellect?
When I'm using my intellect, then I don't think I can manage to actually stay combined. But as soon as I finish whatever it is that needs that focus and attention, then I can come back to that cave of introversion that Dadiji has been talking about, and again, feel Baba's presence and be combined with Baba. Absolutely. When you're working on the computer and you're trying to resolve things on that level, not so easy to be combined, but take a break, a moment of silence, and your connection with Baba is real, it's alive, it's absolutely there. And so you can slip into it very quickly. It won't take you long. But during the time that you're not so focused on intellectual work, what you can do during that time, when everybody has little household chores that they need to do either for the center or their family or themselves or whatever, during that time, just let yourself stay absorbed in that love. Let the hands do the work and let the heart be with God. And that's the way then, when you are engaged in intense work, as soon as it finishes, or even if you take a moment's break, you can slip back into it because that relationship is strong. It's there.
Lovely. Thank you, gentlemen. And here's a question from someone who's saying that we haven't received any sakar or avyakt palna. So could Sister Jayanti describe in detail the avyakt stage, how to feel it and the aura, etc.?
This drill that Baba conducted in this particular Murli, Baba said, become incorporeal. Now, if I've been practicing soul consciousness, then within a moment, I can shed this and just be that shining star, the light that I am in my home in Paramdham. And then, can I come down from the incorporeal world into the world of angels, the subtle region, and I, this point of light, take on my angelic costume, the costume of light. And in this costume of light, I meet with Bapdada, the angel Brahma, and Shiv Baba, the 2 lights shining in the forehead. And now I need to come down into the physical dimension, but I can keep my costume of light with me as I come back onto the corporeal stage of the world. And now I do what I need to do, but I keep my consciousness of the angelic costume. All of these are things to practice, to experiment with and experience. And this is the blessing of the month of January, that if you wish to experience the avyakt stage, then try these steps that we experienced just now. And I'm sure Baba's ready to help you and give you that experience. Your determined thought, your practice of soul consciousness first and foremost, then you can fly very fast to your home. Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen. Very nice. So somebody's saying that if there is a constant no, in other words, if there's constant resistance to waking up or to going to work, and there's a feeling of I have to follow Srimad, then is that Maya? And how to come out of this have to and into the want to?
In recent Murlis, what I've been picking up is that, and it's not one, it's been many, many, many Murlis over the last several weeks. It's been that the biggest cause of not having the experiences that we would like to have, that we want to have, are waste thoughts. And so can I check what is distracting me from Baba, from soul consciousness, from spiritual knowledge? And I'll be able to see whether it's human beings, and I ask myself the question, why? Is it their virtues that are pulling me? Then in that case, I have to remember the one who is the bestower of virtues. Is it their faults and defects that are creating this distraction for my intellect? And I have to again talk to myself and say, well, I'm not perfect myself. So how is it that I can expect anybody else to be perfect? And if it's not human beings that are the cause of distraction, but what is it? Is it food? Is it money? Is it clothes? Is it entertainment? So I have to go deeply inside and ask myself honestly all these questions. And if I can find the answer, then I know what the distraction is. I'll also find the responses from Baba, because Baba has talked about every single thing under the sun and beyond. And so use those things that Baba has been talking about to teach yourself. And then really just start experimenting with yoga through soul consciousness. Try writing some of the aspects of knowledge. Give yourself homework to do. I know that there's been a whole thing with churning Murlis and writing, journaling, all of this that's been going on. Take advantage of the things that are on offer, but do it. If I just wait for something to happen through a miracle, well, I'm forgetting that the biggest miracle is that God has come and given me all these beautiful thoughts and teachings. And so don't wait. Do something about it now. But find the cause of the distraction first, the cause of waste thoughts. And then as you begin to use the tools that Baba has given, every morning you wake up with joy that it's time for a meeting with God. Every day will be a beautiful day in which you can go to work with a smile, and your smile will bring a smile from others, and it'll be a pleasure to go to work. It won't be a chore. It won't be tedious or labor. So take that first step of just checking, and then change that vibration, that attitude, and turn it around and do something for yourself that's positive and constructive.
Okay, thanks, Jennifer. One last question, and then I wanted to do a quick rapid fire round. So just maybe in brief, somebody's asking, there is a general awakening going on. So how do you see Baba's revelation, and how will Baba practically awaken his children?
It's happening already, in the sense that people who are searching, they're looking, they find the connection with the Brahma Kumaris, whether through all the different channels on cyberspace, or whether through a person they know, and they come in close connection. Somebody tells them about the BKs, and something touches them, and they want to know more. So the introduction comes, but then they explore further, and people get to understand who is God and who they are. And if people get to know these two things, fine, that guarantees them mukti at least. Liberation from sorrow, liberation from negativity. And that's something now, the mukti up in Paramdham is later, but they begin to experience and benefit from whatever little gyan they're able to take today. And then who knows, maybe out of those, there will be some souls who take more than just a little. And there'll be some souls who even today might become air quality souls and become messengers for God and create their fortune. You know, I always have this sense that there's one space that's been left in the rosary of 8 that's waiting for a last go fast soul. So who knows where that soul may be and what's going to touch that soul and awaken that fortune.
Wow, genuine. That's like a carrot. You've just hung a carrot for all of us. Okay, a quick rapid fire round, gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
So one powerful moment from last year.
I'm trying to remember which one. Okay, maybe 27th of March last year, and being in Madhuban, being in Shakti Stambh, it was the inauguration of Shakti Stambh in a proper way. It was very powerful, very beautiful.
And it is so beautiful, even at night when the lights are lit. Your greatest learning from last year?
To accept everything with a smile, keep smiling no matter what's going on.
And your one word for the coming year?
Magic.
And one thing you will drop this year?
Carelessness in terms of exercise.
And one thing you will carry forward from last year?
The lightness that I experienced.
Very good. That's it. Lovely answers. Thank you so much. Hope everyone's taken inspiration from that. And maybe you can ask yourselves these questions as well as a reflection. So thank you so much. There's no revision next week, but the week after there is, right, gentlemen?
Correct.
So see you in 2 weeks. Thank you so much. And we have a lovely meditation to end.
Om Shanti to everyone, and thank you to Arunaben.
Thank you. Om Shanti.
Open your hands, let them be filled with the light. Open your hearts, let them be filled with light. For there is a world that's waiting to heal, to feel your love. So share your love, share it with all. Can you hear the call? So open your eyes, let them be filled